if the series Me and T even delivers half of what it's promising, then we're not surviving this. Hello friends, welcome back. I'm so excited. Today it's all gonna be about the upcoming Thai BL series with Pond Phuwin. It's all gonna be about Me and T, which comes out I think on the 14th or 15th, so not that long until we are going to see the first episode. Obviously, there's going to be so many other characters in there as well. We're going to have S, I think, playing a bodyguard. We're going to have Perth Santa as like a little side guest couple. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so if you don't know what the plot basically is going to be of Me and T, it's going to be about a photographer called Peach, played by Phuwin, and it's gonna be about a businessman with a mafia background called T, played by Pond. And after a very dramatic first encounter, which in the trailer we see is that Peach, as the photographer, is shooting like a photo shoot with Santa's character, who I forgot his name, but with Santa's character in the show, who's a model. And basically, Santa's being kind of cornered by some bodyguards or people from Mr. T, Kun T, and he's like, no, like, let's go, let's get out of here. Obviously, also Santa is gonna be paired with Perth. Perth is gonna play apparently like a very red flag, black flag character. I've not read the novel because I've not found an English or German version anywhere. So if you have found it, please don't spoil anything. But if you want, you can send me a DM on like Instagram and tell me personally, because I don't really mind spoilers. And because I want to know why everyone is saying that, because people kept saying that also about his character Yota in Perfect 10-Liners. In my personal opinion, he was not a red flag. He was maybe like a little orange flag maybe or something. Like, he's had trauma, okay? He just needs to go to therapy and then he's like a normal person. Anyway. So, and in this like dramatic first encounter, obviously not really positive, it then develops that basically Peach becomes this amateur life coach to this businessman called T, who is fixated on licorns, which are like kind of soap operas in, I think, Thailand. I think that's what he's kind of obsessed with. And he has lost very much the touch with reality and with normal people, because there's so many scenes where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna just buy this and that, and he's basically like a billionaire or something. So, you know, not very much in touch in reality at all. And so yeah, because T wants to pursue a relationship with Santa's character, who already is really not interested, I think. But he's like, yeah, you need to be at least like somewhat not as creepy as you were before, because that's not gonna help. And that's, I think, how the story kind of goes. So, yeah, so that's the plot. So what do I personally expect from this series? I think it's going to be a little bit cheesy as well. It's definitely going to have some of those licorn elements, because they keep references in it in both like the plot description, in the pilot trailer, but also in the official trailer. And so I think it's going to be a little bit inspired also by those licorns, which are always very over the top, very dramatic, very soap opera, you know, those vibes. And I think this is going to be a little bit like that, which GMMTV does excel at, that kind of like over the topness, I think. Like, it has also made other shows like Moonlight Chicken or Not Me or something like that, The Eclipse or Tempo, but it also has made really cheesy ones like Dark Blue Kiss. Has this very dramatic opening, but it's actually really cute, but it's like also kind of cheesy. But then, yeah, I think that's the kind of I can't talk anymore. It's gonna be the thing about this. It's gonna be cheesy a little bit, definitely. Also because he's like obsessed kind of with these licorns, and so I'm like, he's gonna, like, what we saw in the trailers was that he keeps quoting them, and it's like things that he's like super smooth, and actually it's just really dorky, and I love it because it's like it's hyperfixation. I totally understand. Like, I quote a lot from my favorite BLs, TV series, movies, or books, but sometimes that can just come across really weird, especially if you're like a super rich businessman and then you like have also just like other power dynamic with people. So, you know, so I think it's gonna be really fun, because yeah, I also love that Pond gets again play a rich character. Good for him. No, because I loved him in We Are. It was so amazing. That was so cute. But Dede obviously was very equal, more equal. encounter. Because they were both university students and they had similar friends and things like that. But obviously still, like, Pond's character was still definitely more wealthier than Phuwin's character. So this time, there's going to be definitely an even larger gap between them in that sense. But it's also going to be really interesting because, like I said, as you can see a little bit in the trailer, but also I said that in some of the descriptions that I've read on some of the websites and stuff, it says that he has also like this mafia background. Like there's also some shooting action scenes that I saw in the trailer, so I'm very excited for that part because I think that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, so I think Pond Phuwin, that's like really good that they are getting this show because they've done until now only university BLs, like, and I think generally like quite a lot of university series, and so that's why I'm glad that they're getting another series because, as you could see, for example, with The Heart Killers or even Moonlight Chicken, you can see that outside of the university genre or having most of the characters being in university, there's such a rich like world to explore also storyline wise, and so I'm glad that they chose this for Pond Phuwin because, like I said, for example, in The Heart Killers, I think it did such wonders for both First and Cow, but also for Jung, and so that's why I really enjoyed that immensely. Not just because it was a great story or I just love those couples, but also it was fun to see them in something else instead of Pond Phuwin, to see them in completely not at all related to university. It's gonna be very interesting. There's gonna be action, and there we already saw some guns also in the trailer. Like I said, we're also gonna get S as like the bodyguard, and people are always speculating, is William gonna be also in this? Because technically, apparently, there's like a sequel or something which is about the bodyguard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've heard online, is that there's like a sequel, like there's another book. And so I'm intrigued about it, if it's gonna be like in Band Friends where it literally happens in like the last scene, or is it just gonna be mentioned but not shown? Like, I'm excited kind of about that. Or is it gonna be a little hint at the partnership, kind of what they did with Jimmy and C in Perfect 10-liners? So yeah, that's why I'm excited about that. Okay, so to circle back a little bit to Perth Santa, because it said that they're going to be a guest role, so they're not going to be a super extensive side couple, but I think it's going to be very interesting. It's like I said, the Santa's character is like the model from the very first encounter between Peach and T, which is very dramatic, where he kind of helps also Santa's character, and apparently Perth's character is very possessive, very, you know, red flag and like all of that. So I think that's also going to be interesting because I've like not really seen him as like a proper red flag, because he was definitely in Dangerous Romance with Timon. He was a bit red flaggy, but overall he was actually like a cutie patootie. Like, he was like actually just looking for his house's approval and for love. So again, mostly traumatized. Can be stopped by therapy, especially because they're literally high schoolers. And then yeah, obviously Perfect 10-liners, kind of similar. Like, he is actually a really nice character, and they like actually match really well and just give each other what they need. And then of course his first one, which is Loved by Chance, he's just like the ultimate green flag. So these are like some of my favorite shows also with him. But yeah, so I'm excited to see him in a BL with Santa, where he's like really not a green flag at all, like not any under any circumstances, basically, like it is basically in most of his other shows. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. We probably won't see a lot, but I'm still excited because they were in the trailer in both of them, and we also saw like the behind the scenes with Perth Santa, that they're going to be in a few scenes, maybe not a lot, but I'm still happy about that. Because it's gonna like make it a bit sweeter to wait for their series that they're shooting right now. Love You Teacher, so excited, and that's why I love Pond Phuwin and PerthSanta in one show. And of course, we know that they're all friends, especially Pond and Santa, because they're together in Jasper. And so that's why I kind of love that. Although I get though why it is kind of hard for Jasper to like make any music, because their first priority is not music, their first priority is acting, because all of them are also in fixed acting ships. Not like Lycan, where there's basically only one of them who's in a fixed acting ship, which is obviously William, and also they were formed as a band and not as like actors, and so that's why I think we see more music from them and less acting, and the other way around with Jasper. But especially this one, obviously now that they are both very busy, and obviously other two from Jasper, Jung and Ao are also gonna be like probably super busy, also filming probably pilots for the GMMTV event which happens probably in November, like at some point. I don't think there's been an official date yet, but it will happen because it always happens before the Star Olympics. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I'm just really happy to see like Pond Phuwin, like I said, in this different role, to see Perth Santa in a different role, to see Est again. I love him. He's been in so many of my favorite shows, either as a side character or also as a main couple, like in Tempo. I also loved him in the side couple in Love by Chance 2, I have to say, even though Love by Chance 2 was not that great, but he was great and I loved it. I think that was probably my first show with him, and I was like, who is this man? I love it. And then everyone was like, oh, he's an Olympic swimmer. And I'm like, great. So why they're also talented. Like literally all of them have like side businesses and doctorates and masters, and they're like pilots and Olympians. And I'm like, okay, you're all way younger than I am or my age. And I'm like, not like that. So it motivates me. But I'm also like, have I done something wrong in my life? Yeah. Okay, so to summarize, I think we're all very excited for the show to air. I'm definitely gonna make a review about this on my TikTok. So if you don't know, I already have a TikTok account. It's linked down below. It's linked on my YouTube profile. You should go check it out, because I will make videos about me and T. Probably also gonna recap every week. But in general, I think I'm gonna make some videos. Again, because also my favorite babes are in it, literally Pond Phuwin, Perth Santa. It's a trifecta for me. And I do love a good mafia romance, or like mafia adjacent one. So that's why another point for this show. I'm just in general very excited because it looks also very high quality, and it looks like it's gonna be very fun, but it's also actiony, or maybe even a little angst in there. I think it's just gonna be real fun, real great. I'm so excited for this, for so many other shows which are coming out this November in the next weeks and months. Like I said, there's going to be probably a GMMTV 2026 one, which is crazy because they have not even aired everything. They maybe at like 70% of what they said they were going to air in 2025, I think. Don't take me by that number, but that's just my estimate. Like they have, definitely not everything. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for more. And yeah, here's a little honorable mention because it is related to Pond Phuwin, and I am recording after the Pond Phuwin fan con. I just wanted to say the fan con of Pond Phuwin was so amazing. It was so much fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it because obviously they showed the official trailer on me and T at the fan con. Obviously I wasn't there in person, sad, but I am flying to Thailand next year, so cool. But yeah, obviously it's just too far from Germany. There's people that I know who are live in Asian countries which are bordering Thailand or are close to Thailand, and it's easier than for them to fly to Thailand for a quick trip for the weekend or something. But it takes me 13 hours to get there and at least one layover, okay? That's why it's sad. But yeah, so I watched the fan con. And it was really fun because they started with Ride and Die by Jeff Satter. I really need to see that man in concert. I want him to come to Europe. Literally. It would be so amazing. But then they did 3D by Jungkook. Oh my god. And I was very happy because Pond, he's also such a great rapper, and so I love the voice. I love his rapping voice, and so obviously in 3D there's the Jack Harlow part, which he did really amazing. It was really fun, and they did so many other great songs. They also did Work by 80s. Then I forgot the name of the song, but Pond also did this, I think it's a Chinese song. It trended on TikTok, and he's like dressed like an emperor or something. It was so fun. They did have so many, of course, they also had Thai songs and soundtrack songs. They had such a great variety, basically. And it basically was similar to what they did at the LOL Fan Fest, but just more, because obviously it was just for them and not just with other people. And then I loved that then Pond had a little dance break where he sang Take It Off from Jasper, and that was really fun as well. Yeah. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how excited you are. What's your favorite couple? Like, who are you looking forward to most? Pond Phuwin or like some of the other actors? Are you gonna watch it live? Or are you someone who then waits until like the half or the full to binge watch it? I'm so excited for all of you to watch this video, and then soon to also watch, obviously, for all of us to watch the series. Yay! Okay, you know what the subscribe button is. Give me a like, share with your friends, and I will see you soon. Bye!